GM, everybody. Another week of Wake and Jake, and this week is looking really hot. Like, there's good news coming from everywhere, and I mean, from Trump's administration and just the markets in general looking great. Green across the board. Ethereum is doing crazy numbers that we haven't seen in forever. It feels like forever anyway, but yeah, it feels good, man. Waking up like that and seeing these numbers always feels great. GM Jake, how's everything, bro?
Yeah, things are good. We've had a lot of fun in shitcoins stuff. And then I mean just in general across the board, alts are ripping. A lot of the old meme coins. It's been like the season for like the January, December runners to bounce again. So it's been fun to see so much more risk and liquidity coming back into the market. Presents a lot of opportunities um, for us, so we can kind of break down really all the different sectors because there's a lot that are pumping right now, which is great. But we could start with macro stuff. Yeah, the news. Um, the news has been positive in terms of tariff stuff for the most part. We've had some trade deals um, get done with other countries. The big one obviously has been the China stuff, which um, there were indications that some things have been agreed upon. I don't know if we've gotten really any concrete details in terms of the U.S. China stuff, but in general, I think. Oh wait, actually, I think there was a report about them reducing tariffs for like 90 days or something. Let's see.
Yeah, there was. It was 10% one way, 30% the other, but let's find it. I think it was in chat earlier.
Um, yeah, yeah, I'm seeing it won't go down. It won't go back up to 145 cent. They're saying. Um, sorry, I should have had this earlier.
US to lower tariffs on Chinese goods to 30% from 145, and China to reduce duties on US imports to 10% from 125.
Yeah, so that's great. In general, markets are liking it. Um, as a quick recap on where we're looking, I mean, this is some beautiful numbers here. Bitcoin up 10% on the week, which is awesome in itself, but that's like the low compared to all the other coins. ETH up 39%. Whew, on the week. Just incredible run. We talked about, that ETH. We've talked about it for several weeks now, for the last few weeks, that it looked like ETH BTC could be bottoming out. Shared some tweets of some smart people like OGD Farmer who had conviction that ETH was bottoming out. And it certainly, or the ETH BTC has been bottoming out, and it certainly did as a really major spike over this past week. From ETH, up at 2,500 now. I think it was like 1,800 or whatever last time we talked last week. Solana up 22% as well, still doing well itself at 176 here. And obviously, like a lot of the other big coins have been running quite a bit. We can get into it, but stuff like WIF, MOG, uh, Quag, Popcat, Bonk, Pepe,
Fart coin.
Coin, all up, like 40 to 90% or so on the week. So really cool to see a lot more risk and liquidity coming back in the market, and that's been trickling down to other stuff as well. And it just creates more and more opportunities. So it should be fun. I mean, this is kind of what we talked about. We've been giving the levels in past shows where we want to see really Bitcoin breakout. We want to see it get above, like that 90 when we got above 90K. That looked really good in itself. And then we said, it just needs to hold above 90, 91. If it can break back above, like that 96K area, then we'll probably go to new all-time highs. It did that. I still think, we're on a bit of a dip this morning, down to 102.5. We got all the way up to 105.5, last, like in the middle of the night, Eastern time, um, on like a 3K dip or so here. But I'm personally not worried because we've been running up like a crazy amount. I think, I think there's pretty clear skies here over the next couple months for some new highs for Bitcoin and for a lot of other stuff to catch up as well. I mean, all the smart people that I follow are pretty damn bullish, especially on May, and even into like June and stuff too. So the whole, maybe that still is sell in May and go away. Maybe we we do pump a bunch and that is it for the summer. But I think at least for these next few weeks here, things look really good.
Yeah, my favorite indicator of all time is my buddy that's just really good in crypto, but it isn't too involved right now. He just pays attention to the market. And when we were at 100K last time, running to all-time highs, he kept telling me, he's like, man, the dip's coming. You're gonna see, we're gonna hit 75. And I'm like, bro, this guy, bro, why is he telling me this? I know he's always right. And lo and behold, we went to 75. But last Monday, I went to see him, and ETH, like you just said, was at 1800. We did our show, and then I went to see him. We went to spend some time together. And he kept telling me, he's like, ETH's ready to go. I'm like, oh, you think it's time? He's like, yeah, ETH is ready to go. Watch this week. And the fucking thing went to 25. This guy always hits it right on the fucking, right on the head. He didn't talk about crypto. He didn't, like he said, like crypto is looking prime. A lot of shitcoins too. He was looking at shitcoins, but he told me Ethereum, it's time. People have been accumulating and it hasn't had that crazy pump yet. It had a crazy dump, but hasn't like pumped it at all. It's time now. And I'm like, oh God, he's right, this guy. And lo and behold, he was right again. He's my favorite indicator, man. I'm telling you. And it's a guy that right now has no money in crypto. He just pays attention to the market and he's been doing it forever. So yeah, it was nice to see. But yeah, just a little sidebar there. He's always right. He used to be an MVHQ too for a little while, but yeah, now he's less involved. I'll relay back next time he says something because man, this guy,
Yeah,
whether it
let's
be
say
calling,
you need to
I'm
tell
telling
us.
you, he called the black swan when that stuff happened with FTX, okay, and the markets went to shit. He was calling for a black swan for over a month. He's like, "Get ready, April or May, black swan event." I'm like, this guy, bro, he just keeps fucking nailing it right on the head. He's insane. I don't know what it is, man. He's just really good at like identifying these things. But anyway, yeah, a little sidebar. We have to give this guy a free key and just plug him in here. Anyway. But yeah, it's nice.
Uh,
It's nice to see that we have opportunity and it's just across the board. And with these things, we kind of just touched on that, but it's really cascading, right? So you had the majors run and then a few altcoins, right? And the majors are still doing nice numbers, but you're just seeing one one meme coin after another catching a bid. As one runs to a certain level, the next one's running, and people are. That's usually how people trade on exchanges. Is they're running each coin up like a handful of coins at a time because every time they make their profit then they rotate into the next coin that's on an exchange, and that's something to pay attention to when these things happen, and like the rising tide lifts all boats aspect comes into play because it is true. And it might be a little less like that in actual shitcoin streets, but when it comes to the coins that are on exchanges, it's always like that. You'll have the majors, then the alts,
mm,
then a lot of the meme coins, and lately, even from last year when meme coins really started taking a bigger jump, you see the meme coins front running most of the altcoins. So in reality, a lot of the times it goes straight from majors to the best meme coins, and then you see the meme coins like Mudang, and that one actually surprised me. Like a little, it was such an isolated meme, but it's the one that ran the most. It ran like 3 or 4x within 3 days. It was doing multiple high percent days in a row, and it just hasn't let up. So yeah, meme coins are here to stay, and I think we know that now. And a lot of people that started, let's say, within between the last cycle and this cycle, they gravitate to memes more than ever before. So the first thing they go to is those memes that they know the best when they see Bitcoin and Ethereum and even Solana moving. So that's what we've been seeing. It's been crazy, crazy, crazy runs for meme coins.
yeah, mooting about like an 8x in like 3 days, which is
It's
insane.
nuts. Nobody
Um,
expected that.
but yeah, I mean, like you said, whenever crypto gets this kind of new wave of mainstream attention, then these coins that are easily accessible on big exchanges that people recognize, usually get an outsized bid. So it was sharp for whoever was on these coins like Peanut and Mudang and Bonk and Pepe. Especially like Peanut and Mudang were like a couple of the big winners. Just because I think those are more mainstream, like recognizable memes, even though they aren't really as big as storylines anymore. People remember them and they're like easily you can easily buy them on an exchange, right? So they got bid up pretty hard with this recent influx of attention to crypto, since crypto's been ripping with Bitcoin in the way, and then the rest of the alts, Bitcoin back above 100K is always like a big news line.
Yeah,
So
I think. I'll go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of it flow into Fartcoin, and we're gonna start seeing that like move up again. I mean, it already did. It already did a nice little from the bottom of like last week. It was like at 90 or 900 mil. I mean, they did run up to 1.4 here, but I think that's just the beginning. I really think there's a big move loading, and that it's gonna happen like last time, where it might suck up a lot of the liquidity from other meme coins, just because it's become such a mainstream meme coin and recognizable that I feel like the real leg up, is still ahead. And I really regret dumping my bag to play Boop. We'll talk about that later, but because that was always going to be a long hold for me, because I know it's coming, and I'm gonna try to get that bag back as soon as possible before we move up too high, because I really feel like that's one that's gonna like basically melt faces when it gets going.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it kind of lagged a bit with the fact that it's not on any big exchanges. Really, I don't. It's definitely not on like Binance or Coinbase. I don't
It's
think
on
it's on
KuCoin.
Bybit either.
Yeah,
It's
it's
on
on KuCoin.
KuCoin.
Yeah,
But yeah, like
and
those other ones are like the three biggies. KuCoin's pretty big too, but
exactly.
so it's not as easily accessible as these other memes. So I think, and it already ran quite a bit. It was the first one to lead. So I think it was a bit of a natural rotation. People taking profits on Fartcoin, going to these other memes, with the kind of like the normie bid coming in on those. And then I agree. I think stuff's gonna rotate back to Fartcoin. They got to list it. I don't know how it hasn't been listed yet. It's pretty crazy to me that these exchanges haven't, because I mean it brings in so much volume. You'd think they'd want those fees, um, but I would think it would get listed sometime
Well, I
soon with
guess
how much attention span it has.
that's one bullish sign for us, I guess, because we're always looking for the next coin that might get listed somewhere, and that's not a bad bet. Like that just gives you an extra reason to hold Fartcoin, because if it does go on Binance, we usually know what happens there. So it's just another reason to maybe just hold a little bit and see. I don't think it's moved up that much at all. I don't even think it hits all time high yet. So there's room to grow there, and people are gonna finally end up noticing and start rotating into it, I think.
Um, and while we're on, talking about more of the normie bid, I gotta bring up XRP. Um, Don, who's been like nailing the XRP run this whole time, did another bull post on XRP this morning, about how it looks. It looks really good. He says sending it from the range low, already up 20% since his last post, which is like a couple weeks ago. He thinks that is only peanuts comparison to what's about to come if this truly breaks out. So I think he's thinking, previous high was like 3.2. So I mean, breaking out from there would be, I don't know, maybe up to like 4 or 5. We'll see for XRP stuff, but he's pretty bullish on XRP. We usually see quite a big XRP candle when crypto starts to get back the normie attention, just because that's such like a big has such big mind share amongst people who are like kind of like watch crypto from the sidelines and always and only hop in when like the market gets hot again. So I think XRB is not a bad bet here as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. It's
yeah,
usually a little bit delayed. So you always have the majors run, and XRP takes its time, because I guess it is very normie focused, and normies are usually late to trends. XRP is usually towards the like tail end of moves, from what I've noticed anyway. And it did move a little bit like this week, but only about 10 cents, 10 or and I made a long I put a long on XRP because the main had already moved. I
yeah.
figured XRP was gonna catch up. But it's always like I've always, me, I've always been very vocal about my XRP hate, but that's done. It's in the past. We're trying to make money with XRP again, and I like what I'm seeing. I think, like you said, Normie coin, they love to gravitate to this coin. I keep hearing about it left and right, and they finally have a reason. They finally have a leg to stand on, because a lot of the negative is behind for XRP, whether it be like the legal troubles or whatever. Like a lot of the negative that was in the past cycles is behind it. So I think it's basically more warranted now. I don't think that's ever gonna go to $500 like they think, but $10, maybe $8, whatever. Like it's still a move up, right? And as the money comes in, everything's gonna rise. and the XRP is now a safer bet than most coins out there. So yeah, I'm not an XRP maxi or a bull or an XRP bull, but I will play XRP here and there because I think it's just a very safe bet compared to a lot of the other coins on that list.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in general, I mean, it's just a very risk on environment. Bitcoin dominance looks to be popping out a bit here, and we're getting quite the alt season starting up. Here's another tweet from Donald about how he held through his ETH. He's had ETH for a while. Held through a 50% breakdown, and now he's saying maybe I'll hold through a 2x from here as well. So he's pretty bullish on ETH as well to keep the run going. Which I mean, if you think about like ETH holders, like there's a lot of people sidelined on ETH. I mean, people capitulated quite a while ago. I would say a lot of big whales and accounts have capitulated ETH. Even like some of the biggest believers, I would say, over the last couple of years. So I don't know if there's I feel like there's still a lot of like buy pressure that can come in on ETH if it does continue this outperformance and people really believe in the rally. I think it could get a bit crazier from where it's at now.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Solana when everybody hated on Solana, and now it's just flipped, where everybody was kind of like in disbelief when Solana started moving up last time, and how they all called it a shit coin and it would never take over ETH's position, and everybody was like ignoring it, and then they all rushed in. I feel like that's happening with ETH now, and they're starting to take a lot of the market share of ETH. So it's fun. We'll see where it goes from here. A lot of us have ETH bags, you know what I mean, or used to have ETH bags. I'm sure a lot of people did capitulate them, but in a way that's good because it's going to cause a lot of FOMO for people, like you just said. So I'm excited about it. When ETH starts moving and the ecosystem starts moving, a lot of crazy things happen, and I don't think it's out of the question for us to see like punks back close to 100 and even apes closer to 40 or 50 again if ETH does start making crazy moves. So we'll see. I hope. I mean, a lot of us are dying to get rid of some of those NFTs, right? So that's gonna be just like a crazy gift for all of us if it does happen.
Um, yeah, great crowd here, by the way, this morning. Anyone have anything that they wanted to chat on regarding like macro stuff, some of these bigger altcoins and such? Love to get some community participation here.
Just wanted to chime
Over.
in quickly because I only got a couple minutes till my next meeting. But I have noticed that AI has definitely been heating up. And shout out to Ricky Maru in the audience there. He's definitely been on top of that, but notably virtuals on the base ecosystem specifically, just because ETH is ripping so much. I would say a good one to pay attention to. As you kind of noted, Jake, like most of these coins that have been popping off over the past weeks are pretty much the dino coins, as they call them, stuff like Popcat and Whiff, stuff that's been hot from a few cycles ago, just kind of running it back. I think part of that is shorts getting squeezed, and then also some of these influencers like Ansem and Bonkai coming back and calling those out. So definitely sort of a beta play after beta play of just old coins getting squeezed, but we haven't really seen the return of a new meta in any sense where we had Gork, we had Housecoin, but there hasn't really been like a de facto breakout multi-hundred mil runner. But stuff on the virtuals ecosystem and AI in general has getting a lot of interest. Some new launches over there are running pretty quickly up to 10 and 15 million. So definitely been paying some attention over there. I think a lot of it is just contingent on if we do get the leg higher and we do start to see some of those runners. But I think a lot of the move for like the old Dino coins has already kind of happened. So this is where I would be looking for those new runners to emerge to hit those big swing trades.
Yeah, really good shot, Ross. I was actually gonna bring up virtuals too because D Farmer has been bull posting a ton. He's been basically saying he's putting like all of his profits on other trades into virtual, the main coin itself. It's showing some nice strength too. Compared to some of these other coins, it's at up to $2 now. I think all time high was like $5 or something like that. So not crazy away. Oh yeah, like 4.6 or something like that. So almost half of all time high, which is quite a bit better than a lot of these other coins that are still like um only like 20% or so of all time high from where they were in January, February. So nice strength in the virtuals eco. Is Ross, I know there was like they like revamped a little bit about the virtuals like launch pad system. Would you be able to get any like type of TLDR on those changes?
Yeah, 100%. So a lot of the return to virtuals ecosystem is their flywheel that they've built. So essentially, you have a few different ways to earn virgin points. The first is by trading crypto. It's a little joke there. But the first is to hold virtual token. The second is you can be trading on their platform. And then the third is you can buy Vader, which is a virtual agent, and stake it. You'll get these virgin points, and then they have what's called Genesis launches. And Genesis launches is their fair launch mechanic, where basically with these points that you're earning, they're not worth anything inherently, but you can pledge points as many as you want in order to try to reserve a spot of a new launch that's coming out. So let's say you have like 100,000 virgin points and you really want to get in on a new launch coming out. You can pledge 100,000 points, and then you also pledge up to 566 virtual with it. And basically, if you pledge enough points, you might get the max allocation, which is 566 virtual points. If you don't pledge that much, maybe you only get a little bit of that virtual that you were looking to pledge into the Genesis launch. So I would go over to Page for more details, but the TLDR is they're basically just having people stake virtuals, trade virtuals, getting points, and it's allowing you to get in early on these new launches. And these launches have been going like 10x, 100x, all of the ones that you can get in on that are over allocated. Those have all pretty much just been like free cooks. It's just a matter of having enough points to actually max out that allocation. So definitely ask Ricky Maru or just go on to virtuals for more info. I sadly do have to hop for a meeting here, but definitely wanted to flag virtual. And I would be looking for agents now that are focusing on self trading or identifying uh, runners that actually work. Just keep in mind with these AI agents, the stuff that has been repumping are actual working products. It's not the same as these meme coins where you want to look at like micro cap funny name. Really just focus on the product and building team. But I do have to hop. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Ross.
Awesome.
That was huge, man.
Ross, can you give any quick plays? Oh, he's gone. He's gone. I was trying to get some calls out of him right before he left.
You're gonna delay his meeting. Ross, please come back.
No, that was great.
But Ricky,
Well,
if you're
thank you.
here and you're free, go ahead if you want to expand on that. He was calling you up personally and said you knew a little bit about it. He had the funniest like way to call you too. He called you Ricky Maru, and now I can't get it out of my head.
I always think of it as Ricky Morrow. I
Me
don't know
too.
how
That's how I always read it. I don't see no ooze there. Hey,
I
side
love
note,
it.
Icon is like at 10 mil, so we're doing good there, Jake.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I really like the AI play in general. I mean we talked about it a bunch on previous shows and obviously when we had the big run up too, but I think just in general like AI is very clearly the future, so it makes a lot of sense that with these digital products, maybe there's a compatible digital currency that in some way can be utilized, within the products, whether it's with trading or with access to a terminal or whatever it is. I think it makes a lot of sense for there to be AI coins, and for a lot of these AI coins to really can have some pretty asymmetric upside to them as well. So I like making bets in that area on new stuff, especially just because that's also like where a lot of speculation is going to be is in the AI sector. Obviously, we see it with like VC money going to like Open AI is raising it like $1 trillion valuation or whatever it is. I don't know, crazy amounts. So obviously, there's a lot of appetite for AI. So I think that's a place that you should absolutely keep your eyes on when it comes to these coins and stuff. I like virtuals a lot. because it's proven to be the leader in the sector. And it's still, I think it's like, what is it like? I think Vader was a really good call. I've seen OGD Farmer talk about Vader too. I haven't looked into it too much. But if you can stake it for virtuals points, I think that's maybe a nice beta play as well. I'll have to look into it more. But yeah, just in general, love the AI call, and I'm looking to position myself more over there.
Yeah,
I think
keep an eye
Arc,
on
yeah,
prompt too. What was that, sorry?
I was gonna say Arc. I think is another really interesting one too. AI rig complex.
I haven't looked at it in
Like,
a while. I made good money on that one. I just haven't checked it in a while. Oh, still around 100 mil. Very nice.
yeah. Um, yeah, I think they have a new product that they're coming out too. I think they called it like an AI agent app store. Um, called Rise Zone. Um, basically is to like help people use basically like different AI tools that you can use for specific things. This is like edit photos, track finances, manage tasks, whatever. Kind of like a complete tool that you don't have to build yourself, which I think is really interesting.
Very
So
cool.
that's another one that I've always liked, and I've know a lot of sharp people around the ARC train, and so it's cool that they've continued to build and innovate throughout a bit of a rougher period over the last several months for that sector.
Yeah, I was very comfortable when I finally accepted AI and I understood how to trade it and how to hold it and stuff. That was probably the most comfortable holds I had were when AI was moving. I could just look away for a few days and I knew I'd be okay. It didn't feel like trading shitcoins really. So I like it. I like that it's coming back. I was a bit like skeptical of it at first. I thought, it would be hard to like, especially for me to like parse through which ones would be good or bad, but now it's getting a little easier because you just have to bet on the ones that already ran and that are actually building, like Ross said. There's like, look for things that are actually building products and are not just larps. And if you do even 10 minutes of research on a coin, you can probably find a really good AI coin. So that's where the edge lies. It's not even really understanding fully what they're doing and how they're doing it. It's just noticing that they're working hard and they're a legit company that's probably taking care of something that's needed and they can pierce a certain sector and you can do good. I ended up really liking the AI meta. So if it comes back, we can make a and we saw the biggest runs were on the AI coins. We'd see things go from 1 million to 100 million within a few hours and sustain that buy pressure. So I mean, if it does come back, which it looks like it is, that's good for all of us. Good times ahead, man. We get the pick of the litter right now. Anything else on AI? Maybe someone from the crowd, other than like now that Ross is gone, maybe someone else has a different take. I'm gonna throw out the prompt Wayfinder prompt out there too. I'm still seeing a lot of action on them, and that's the parallel coin. So if AI is running, check that one out too. Parallel's a great team. They love to build, and they're always doing something a little bit innovative. So yeah, I don't think that one's gonna go away, and I think it might still be pretty undervalued at 300 mil compared to other coins. So we'll see.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about the shitcoin meta. So I think that's been interesting. There's a lot of volume coming into shitcoins. It's been really fun. Lately, uh, right now it's like the big story is kind of like the launchpad battle of like Pump getting some market share taken from them. People thought it'd be Boop, but it's not. It really hasn't been. It's been Bonk. And their launchpad that's been the big one. Um, with honestly led by like Bonk guy who I think is an awesome follow. He gives a lot of really good insights in alpha, and he has these like longer term plays um, that he shares with people, and he's notably really long the bottom of some big memes. Obviously, he's Bonk guy from his like big leverage Bonk trade where he made like millions of dollars or whatever, and then he did the same kind of similar thing to I think it was Peanut and maybe another meme as well. Um, really like when things were looking just like leak like a month or so ago, a month or a month and a half ago. And he just publicly is like, yeah, I'm long and believes still in this meme coin sector. And things popped off again, so he's kind of like hit multiple home runs now. So he's really gained a lot of attention, and he's honestly become like the main character at the moment. You know, I'll see crypto Twitter, the main character kind of rotates quite a bit, and it's always important to pay attention to what they're saying because a lot of opportunities can be gained. Coins can move quite a bit based on what that person does. And right now, I would say he's the main character, and he's heavily promoting this launch pad that the Bonk team has deployed, and he's promoting a lot of coins that have came from that launch pad as well. So I think that one's I would say worth paying attention to. Like the biggest ones have been like Osiko, which is like a cat, and then another one that's ripping right now is Icon, which is some Chinese meme. I honestly could not tell you what it is. Um, but sometimes it doesn't matter too much. It matters who's the people promoting it. And right now it's him, and now Pal's into it too, and then another coin called like Useless coin, which is just a meme that this coin is useless. Um, and yeah, that's basically been the meta right now is that, and then Pump Fund just announced that they're going to start giving rev share to creators of coins, like 50% rev share from swap fees from their Dex pump swap that they make that they graduate coins to. So they'll starting to feel a bit of threatened, I would say. Pump Fun is by these other launch pads, namely Bonk, taking up market share from them. So that's always good for traders. I think that's pushes coins to obviously create a more advantageous environment for people to use that platform, aka more rewards. And we don't really see it now as traders from obviously like them giving creators their own rewards, but I think it's a step in the right direction, a step towards possibly a pump fund token itself, or maybe more rev share from like a trader holder side of things. So competition in general is very good for these launch pads because previously it was a very extractive um, business model by pump fund where they just took really all the fees and didn't give anything back.
Yeah, it's fun to see. Um, yeah, but the Bonk stuff is legit. Like the guy, what I look up about Bonk guy too, is that he gives full on thesis and he's very open about his positions and stuff. So it's a great follow. Like if you want to learn how someone thinks when they look at even shit coins and how to like leverage trade them or whatever it might be, that guy's an amazing example of it. And like you said, he's turned into the main character now like the last week or two. He's been like really. He's been a great follow and a great like notifications on guy where you want to see what he's buying, and even if you get your hand on his wallets, we have them in our chats. But really the right guy to follow. He moves markets like crazy. He's really the main character, like you said. So it's fun to see, and I think he's got his mind in the right place. He's not looking to just dump on everybody and extract. He's got longer term visions that he puts into place, and he's willing to wait out whatever coins he's attacking. So it's fun. Those are the type of guys we should be following, not those pump and dump, like dump on all my following scammers. So yeah, I mean I like guys like that. They're good for the space, and hopefully we get a few more of these guys to lead us in the right direction. But Bonk has really taken a lot of mind share lately. Pump Fund is definitely feeling a little threatened. Obviously, like you just said, they stole Boop's idea too of rev share, but it needed to be done because everybody always pointed the finger at them on being super extractive, and by them giving back a little bit, or at least attempting to take steps in the right direction, it might save them a little bit. I mean, already they were safe because anytime a new platform comes out, people just don't gravitate to it, except for Bonk now that's taking a lot of mind share. But um, other than that, nothing ever works. Like Boop was a good idea on paper, in theory, but as soon as it got rolling, it was just max extract by users to go and do something else with the funds. So it hasn't really worked out. And honestly, the way it's going now, I think they're gonna have a hard time even like regaining attention. And like they've just switched too many times on how it all works and how rev share is done, and they're starting to lose a lot of faith from people that already didn't have much of. So it's been a little sad to see. I had invested heavily into it just in case it does become the next. It just needed to take a tiny bit of share from Pump Fund, and I would have made a killer amount of money. But it looks like they can't even take not even 1% of their share, and that's just hurting the whole ecosystem because people are just gonna sell whatever tokens they get, and it's just gonna crash. So it's been bleeding like crazy ever since it launched. I think it had maybe 2 good days, and it just bled like crazy. Very reminiscent of ApeCoin and how that launched. Ape Chain and how that launched early on with the coins on that. And I don't know what else they can do because any news that they throw out there just gets basically destroyed now because they've just flip flopped left and right and changed how everything works and changed how the airdrop mechanics happen. And I mean, they have a lot of work to do. And I think this might even hurt Dingling's reputation a little bit, the way they did it and how he kind of um, turned his back on some of the stakers and investors, but he had no choice to do that. So not to make a long story too long, but he didn't really have a choice to switch it up because this thing was dying way too fast. So we'll see where it goes. But right now, the confidence is definitely on the rocks here. Sorry, there's
Yeah,
noise in the
I'd say
background.
I'm pretty bearish on Boop, I would say. I don't It's hard, like, I feel like it's obvious that you need to have, like, some big runners, from your platform, like, coins that do really well go to, like, 20, 30, 40, 50 million. And they never really, like, did a good enough job of promoting, like, specific coins to get to that level, and then it really just resulted in all these coins, like, any coin getting launched from Boop, like, people just it became, like, its own, it's like a I can't think of the metaphor for it, but essentially, like every coin, people just expected it to go to dump, because there was never any runners, coming from the Boop ecosystem, and that just like you're just shooting yourself in your foot at that point. And like Launchpad is kind of basically takes over like their whole narrative of being like the community friendly, decentralized launchpad. Like Bonk kind of just like takes over that narrative of versus Pump Fund, and they have bigger KOLs and people rallying behind it, and also like an established brand. With Bonk being, a very community oriented. Their original airdrop was to like almost like everyone in the Solana ecosystem at the time, like during the bear. So like they have a lot of diehard fans in the Solana ecosystem pulling behind Bonk. So I just think as it kind of like fills that gap already that Boop is trying to fill. So I think it's a very uphill battle for Boop to regain any type of market share. So I'm personally not very bullish on Boop stuff. I'd rather bet on the Bonk ecosystem.
Yeah, it's just so organic. And just the way they did it was just so organic and feel good from the beginning. If you think about it, there were no real losers on Bonk unless you're buying tops and selling. But if you think about it, it was very community inclusive and not very extractive, and like everything started building on Bonk. Like you started getting BonkBot that came out, and it just really became um almost synonymous with Solana. It just became so like side by side with it that you know what I mean. It became the main meme for Solana in a way. So and it's great to see that they built that into what it is today because they turned it into so many different avenues, and a lot of it is community built and run, and they're just it's hard to come in and disrupt that. You're not just gonna come and throw money at a lot of people and think you're gonna take them away. You need to have more than just that, and I think that's what Boop is learning now. They kind of put themselves in trouble here, but I agree. Bonk is here to stay, and it's been nice. It's been nice. It's nice to see a little bit of disruption and a little bit of competition for pump funds, and they even had to switch a lot of stuff up. So yeah, the Solana ecosystem right now is in decent shape, and the building is always happening on Solana. Sure, we don't have the masses here right now trading shitcoins, but I think that's almost better. It always gets way too noisy when the shitcoin starts running too much and people are max extracting. Like I'd rather this. Give us a few runners every day. give us some sustained pumps. And sure, if you want a shitcoin trade, there's a bunch of that going on too. But I mean, you can really find stuff that's like you can just hold back a little bit and wait for their good stuff, and you'll still make amazing money and risk a lot less. So yeah, I think Solana is actually in a really good spot right now, and even the coin might start moving way higher very soon as people start paying attention.
Super long Moodang pitch.
Bro, mood dang, holy crap, eh? Bro, mood dang, I can't believe it. I'm in disbelief. I didn't think it would run that hard because it was such a yeah, it's a cute animal and it was the leader of cute animals. But did anybody here expect an 8x in a matter of days? I didn't. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So in general, I'd say like I'm feeling like really good uh about the market. I guess like I'm feeling really bullish. I think maybe we have some consolidation here. As Bitcoin range is a bit just below all-time high. But there's still so much room for really alts and stuff to do well, and I think there's quite a bit of buckets where you can allocate to, and it could do pretty decent. Like if I had to pick large cap stuff, like of my favorites, I would say like Fartcoin for sure, Virtual, and XRP would be like probably like three big altcoins that I think could do really well. And then more mid cap stuff would be like Fwog. I still really like. Still like way really far from where it was in its all time high, and I think still like a very admired like brand in meme coin. I feel like a lot of people like Fwog quite a bit. And then Arc is another one that I think has a lot of upside from a platform, AI platforms thing. So, and then just in general, I think there's gonna be daily runners that do really well. Following people like Bonkai. I posted some other wallets in my wallet track in my recent field report about shitcoins. I'm gonna have another one out here pretty soon about evaluating new coins. But in general, like if you guys want to join us in the shitcoin chat, you don't have to gamble on every little small runner. I think you can there's different strategies that you can employ right now in the market because there's a lot of opportunities if you want to do more established stuff. I think that's also a really good bet. Stuff that's already like 5, 10, 15 million and could still 2 to 10x again from where it's at. I think it's a good time for those kind of plays as well. So just in general, I think I'm very bullish on what's to come over the next month or two at least, and excited to get more into it. Anything else from anyone here on like shitcoin stuff?
Mr. Jake, I'm back in between meetings. I got 10 more minutes.
Ross back.
So shitcoining. I just wanted to add the perspective. Like, I feel like I've been in a place where I'm kind of been sidelined, longed on the majors, and you could like feel the FOMO in the air, right? Because there's so much stuff popping back up. It's like, is it going to keep going? It feels like it wants to, but definitely understandable that after the past months, it's kind of nerve wracking. I have really been having a great time with Meteora and setting up DLMMs for some of these new coins. I think it offers a really good blend of like some risk exposure, make some passive money there, and kind of just get in, get out. So for those not familiar, I would check out the Meteora Discord, and you can set up some DLMM pools. But like right now with this Icon, I don't really know anything about it. It seems like it's kind of late because POW just bought and now it's pumping up. But for something like that, I can set up a pool on Meteora and probably get like a 30-40% gain just by collecting some of these fees if it pulls back. If it doesn't, that's fine. Like you're not going to catch all of them. But just wanted to flag that there are some other plays that are a little bit like hedging almost your risk so you don't have to max the risk. And this is again just from my perspective of I'm not fully quite ready to risk on yet because I'm not sure if the edge is fully there and I am catching some of these trends late, but just wanted to shout it out because for some of these things that are running up a bunch and it probably doesn't have like another 100% move in it, you can still do a really great job just farming fees if you are, conservative with where your targets are.
Yeah, I love that. I love that shout. I know people like Brian Dub and Banger have been doing the Meteor pools for a while and on just like the hot coins that are getting high volume. And you're farming their airdrop, right? Too, which a lot of people I've heard some sharp people are pretty bullish on the Meteor airdrop too. So you're not just getting the fees, you also have that added upside of accruing some towards that Meteor airdrop.
Great shouts.
Um,
Man, so much
oh, one
going
other
on.
Well, I would say one other thing on shitcoin stuff. I'd say like there's been some more activity on chains outside of Solana too. That I want to point out. I wouldn't. I think you can solely focus on Solana if you want to, but if you are comfortable, like if you have been playing around on these other chains, maybe you have a bit of a leg up on what people like on these because kind of different chains sometimes have different communities behind them, different cultures, if you will, and maybe you have a little more insight into what's going on over there. If you have been farming like abstract, for instance, I know there's been a couple of shitcoin runners. I think there was a coin that went to like 20 million or something, like a meme coin on abstract, and I know there's been some BNB stuff doing well recently. I think AVAX as well too, and even and like ETH stuff with ETH outperforming. We see this a lot. If there's like a native like alternative chain or whatever, if that chain is native currency is doing well, then a lot of times just like the shit coins on it will start performing well too. So there's been some ETH runners of like the I don't know, like the millionth map theory character, so like some rat or whatever that went to like 40 million. But I would say don't like immediately fade coins on other chains if you see someone share it. It might be worth another deeper look.
Yep, good calls. On abstract, I'll touch on that since we mentioned a little bit here. Um, there's been a lot of action there on a lot of the shitcoins that they're launching, and it's a little less noise. It's actually a lot less noisy than on Solana shitcoins, and the pumps are sort of sustained, and it's not that hard to follow because all you have to do really is just log into the abstract Discord and follow along to see what they're saying and what they're aping into, and it's actually really reminiscent of like last year's cycle or last cycle when everybody was just going into discords and checking out what alpha like a certain alpha group was aping into, and then those things are moving, and this is just so specific to abstract because it is only abstract that there's money to be made there. I need to tap into that a little bit more. I don't think I'm late to it yet. I think it's just the beginning because it only has been like 3 4 days that we're seeing this action on abstract shitcoins. But just something to be aware of, because it's very easy to trade on abstract, and the floors are usually sustained pretty well if you get in early. Like just Dith's cat the other day, that like someone I think someone just made a cat, made a coin for Dith's cat. Dith, the creative Jelly Cheffers, posted his cat, one-eyed cat, and it attracted a lot of people. It went up to 1 million really quick, and people ate on that. And even now, it's at 800K market cap, 877, and it's holding really well. So, they're just memeing a lot of the different coins over there and different projects, and it's been nice to see. I think there's money to be made if you're careful. And abstract has just everybody's eyes right now with some of the NFTs popping off with like Dream Millionaires that we should have got into, but we didn't at 0.02. A lot of us faded because it was minting so slow, but they went up to 0.2. So easy cooks right now on abstract. Definitely pay attention. Drew Millionaires also have a coin that's at around 450K market cap. I invested a bit, but we'll see. Maybe it just fades away. No idea. But if I feel like this here is less noisy and probably easier to track and easier to make money on right now than shit coins. Um, yeah, I mean, if this is more your cup of tea, go ahead and take a look. And again, you're farming abstract anytime you interact with the abstract chain, so it's a good thing. Pengu's doing great, back at um a cent and a half, so that's good. A little bit off its highs, maybe it needs to go another 3x before hitting its highs, but we like to see a little grind up like that. It's fun to see. So I hope it keeps it going. I think it should. The ecosystem is thriving right now, and it's really really healthy. So I think Pengu is also a good bet. I didn't mention it earlier because I knew we'd get to abstract, and I wanted to mention it during this segment. But I haven't sold any of my Pengu. I actually wish I would have added to DC it down a bit, but yeah, here we are. That's it on abstract. Just the regular farms for me still, and just trying to play on the chain a little bit, hold coins, hold NFTs, and play on it. I'm having fun still. Nothing's changed there. Oh yeah, one last note. If you're playing Gigaverse or if you're farming Gigaverse, he Diff did mention that the only people that are gonna get XP going forward are those that hold big juice. That's basically like almost it's not like a season pass, but it's like an ad you can buy to boost your energy and stuff in game, and you need to pay ETH for that. So the only people that are gonna get XP going forward, I think, are the juice holders, and it's like 0.01 ETH for 30 days or 0.04 ETH for like half a year. So it's not that expensive. Just putting that out there so you guys can know that there's gonna be a lot of XP given to just juice holders going forward. That might be a little bit of a hack. But yeah, that's it for abstract for me. My last note, it's getting close to the hour. My last note is on ordinals. We're finally back. Things are looking good. The market is green across the board. Check this out. I just put a screenshot in VC Hangout. I mean, I'm looking at exits here. I'm not looking to add at these prices, but I'm hoping to God that it goes at least another 2x from here. And I'm just going to start dumping into Bitcoin because, again, the whole point is to accumulate Bitcoin. And I feel like I've been holding these ordinals, like I round tripped so many of them that I shouldn't have. And I think if Bitcoin keeps going up, then ordinals are going to like stall out again. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they keep running, but I don't really want to take that risk. I think holding Bitcoin is a lot more beneficial in the long run, and I feel like all my Bitcoin should be used for Bitcoin itself and not for ordinals. If launches come out that I think are gonna pump or are gonna bring me good return, then yeah, I'll buy some. But in general, I'm going to be much more careful going forward with what I do with my Bitcoin. And I think that's just a general feeling across the board. People want to hold Bitcoin, right? So it's very hard to convince somebody to use that Bitcoin to buy things. And ordinals, sure, they're great. But at the same time, how many people are actually willing to lose their Bitcoin for JPEGs? I don't think it's that many. Same thing with runes. We're seeing a nice little recovery here on runes. I don't have it pulled up here, but yeah, you can take a look here for yourself. Here, trade runes. Yeah, I'm not gonna copy paste this, but you got a lot of them that did like you know what? Here we go. I'll paste it anyway, just because it looks good. We're still down from the highs, but huge recovery going on in the Bitcoin ecosystem. A lot of people were waiting for this moment, so yeah, I'll probably be selling into this, but I don't think I'm gonna start selling just yet. I'm still waiting because runes can pump way higher. I think they can go much higher than this. So yeah, but again, my whole plan here is just to get my Bitcoin and let you know what I mean. Let someone else trade JPEGs. I have too many already.
Love the shouts. I was wondering about the ordinal stuff. I figured it would have to get a bid here eventually.
Yeah, they
Um,
were on at bottoms for way too long. So it had to start happening eventually, and here we are. We're starting to move. I think the good thing, you know, we have a lot of people coming back into the space, a lot of different avenues we can explore, and we're finally at a point where it doesn't matter who you are or what you like to do, you actually have an opportunity to stay in your comfort zone and make money in your comfort zone. And it feels like for months we hadn't seen that. People had to go and like gamble on shitcoins to make money. Everything else was kind of quiet. And I feel like right now, this is what's going to bring in a lot of the people. It's not that one sector is running and, oh, I could go make money in there. It's like, oh, shit. I can't believe NFTs are running, and I was good at NFTs. Or oh crap, ordinals are doing well. I love ordinals. Let me go play there, and I think yeah, attention is going to be diverted, but I don't think it's such a bad thing because people are going to stick in their comfort zones, and we're going to see like pumps across the board. Hopefully, anyway. I think there's a big chance of that happening.
yeah, more liquidity into the market in general is always a good thing. It just presents more opportunities. So I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully hopefully that continues. I think it will. But there's never any guarantees, obviously, in this space.
Yeah. Or even in the world in general, like next
Yeah.
week it might be like, oh, Trump decides to go back on everything, or there's like, again, we always talk about wars, a war escalation, or problems between US and Israel that have been like, there's been murmurs of that lately. So anything can happen to bring us down. But for now, man, enjoy it. You know what I mean? Make your money. I think we're okay for a few days here.
Couple other things I wanted to shout out. A couple posts in non-time time I can't talk, non-time sensitive info channel. Metarova talks about how Monad Mainnet is coming out August 18th looks like when they confirm. And he has a monad farming field report that he did a few months ago. He said, so if you want to do that, I'm pretty sure that's the monad testnet, by the way, and I'm pretty sure you can do that all for free with no capital. A lot of really good info over there. Just go to the non-time sensitive channel, and also Daibar's rule shared a allow-less opportunity for a project called Crypto Agents, which is a PFP project inspired by punks for PFPs for AI agents. It seems like it's decently hyped up. Yeah, it says on the site 316,000 people have joined this whitelist or allow list. So that's one to pay attention to as well. Looks like some cute pixel art might do well. And yeah, anything else, Jinzo or anyone in the crowd wants to chat about?
Couple field reports to check out too. The one you put,
Yeah.
shitcoin series settings and tools. That's big for anybody that wants to like start out and see how Jake operates down there. Can give you a nice little boost, and even for people that are trading for a while. Like I mean, you always can learn new stuff. So, and then you also have identifying solid NFT projects from Metarova. Definitely a couple of different like things you can learn from these field reports. Always something good in MDHQ to learn. As long as you're not lazy, you can make money. But that's it for me. Nothing else. Anybody from the crowd have something that we didn't talk about? Maybe that's like bullish or something that we missed that's important.
Oh, another quick shout: the SNS airdrop is tomorrow.
Oh, good call.
I shared that claim link in time sensitive last week, so you can see how much you get. But just be on the lookout for it. It's dropping. TGE is happening tomorrow, so be able to claim tomorrow.
Let's go. I hope for big airdrop, bro. I hope these things bring me back a nice return.
Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, thank you all. Appreciate you everyone coming out. We'll obviously keep chopping it up all day, but yeah, thanks y'all.
Take care, everyone. That was fun. Let's make some money.
Yeah.